Okay, so tomorrow we're going to be working with graphs that make what's called an asymptote. And these are a type of graph where the curve of a line approaches a number but never quite reaches it. And what I mean by that is if we look at some of these examples, these are all asymptotes. If we look, this line right here is called a vertical asymptote because if you look at x equals -2, the line keeps going vertically, but it'll never quite reach x equals -2. So this is called a vertical asymptote. This right here is called a horizontal asymptote because horizontally, this is what y equals 1 right here. And horizontally, it'll approach 1 and it'll get closer and closer and it never quite reaches it. So this is a horizontal asymptote and this is a vertical asymptote. And same thing with this. This would be a horizontal, it goes down towards y equals 1 but never reaches it. This is the vertical because it goes up and never reaches x equals -2. These are all vertical. This is a vertical asymptote here, horizontal here. If we look at another example, here again, these are asymptotes. This is the vertical because it's going up, 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 but never quite reaches 3. This is the horizontal because it goes down, 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 but never reaches the x-axis. Okay, so this is going to be a y is greater than 0 because it never quite gets down to the x. And same thing with this. This is a vertical asymptote because it never quite reaches the 3. And this is a horizontal asymptote because it never crosses over the x-axis. So this is going to be y is less than 0. If we look at one of your homework problems for tonight, again, yours aren't going to be doubles, they'll just be singles. And this is going up and up and up to bigger numbers. So that is not a vertical asymptote because it keeps increasing without bound. However, this right here is going to hug the x-axis but never quite cross the x-axis. So this is a vertical asymptote right here. And it's y equals 0 because it never quite gets to where it crosses the x. And you know that when it crosses the x-axis, y must be 0. If we look at another example here, this again is not a vertical asymptote because again it's increasing without bound. It kind of keeps going this way, this way, this way. This, however, is hugging the x-axis again and never quite passes it. If you look at your table that you create here, it won't ever get to where x is a negative number, and it won't ever get to where, excuse me, y is a negative number or y is even 0. So that's why the asymptote is y equals 0, which means it will never equal where the coordinate y is 0, meaning it'll never cross the x-axis. Okay, and same thing here. This is just the other way, but again, it's a horizontal asymptote because again, it just hugs this line all the way down but never crosses over. And that's pretty much it. So those are called asymptotes. All of ours are going to be horizontal, and it's basically where it hugs this x-axis but never quite crosses over. So it hugs it to infinity. Just the numbers get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, but it never crosses over. And that's called an asymptote, so it's pretty easy. And then, so that's it. So I want you to understand what the word asymptote means. And then your homework tonight is going to be page 389 to 390, and you're going to do numbers 1 through 12 for tonight. And then we'll talk about cognitive tutor, and we would have talked about cognitive tutor. But anyway, so I want you to come into class with a knowledge of what an asymptote is. Make sure you make a note that you understand asymptote is a curved line that never crosses the x-axis. And we'll be starting off with that in class tomorrow. Have a great night.